folks, welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with you again, and today I've got a little fishing video for you. What I did is I got my wife and my grandson out in the boat at a local lake that we have here. It's Kentucky Lake. It's a pretty good sized lake. You've probably heard of it. And just doing a little bit of leisurely fishing for panfish, and mainly, you know, targeting fish like bluegill. And we have a fish here called shellcracker, which is actually a red ear sunfish, and they get a little bit bigger usually than the bluegill. There's also other panfish that we catch here. One of them that I can think of right offhand is the long ear sunfish, and I catch a few in that video as well. And they're a very colorful fish with turquoise and orange and, you know, green and all different colors. So, you know, you look forward to that. But what I'm trying to do is get my grandson interested in outdoor activities. And, you know, that if you have a youngster that you're trying to get started in the outdoors, I can't think of anything better than to take them out on a fishing trip catching bluegills. You don't have to wait long. You know, they're pretty readily available anywhere you go. And the fishing for these type of fish is very simple. So, you know, if you have a youngster that is so caught up in video games and everything else that these young people are caught up in now, and you want to get them into some real life adventures, fishing is a great activity. And I can't think of anything better than fishing for bluegills or other panfish. You know, that would include crappie and, you know, whatever else you might have available to you, depending on where you live. Let me show you the setup that I was using. This is a rod and reel that I just recently obtained, and this is the Daiwa Revros 2500 series. And I'll tell you, since I bought it, I've absolutely fallen in love with this little rig. And this is a Shimano Scimitar rod here. It's a, I think, 6.5 foot rod, graphite. Perfect combination. I like a cork handle personally, you know, on a fishing rod. I just like the feel of it, and they just last a long time. I think they would outlast nearly any other material that's used for fishing rods. But this reel is absolutely wonderful. They're smooth, easy to use, you know, and haven't had any problems with it yet. I bought it last summer to do some creek fishing and absolutely fell in love with this little rig. My grandson, I bought him a combination here, a little combo. This is a Shakespeare amphibian, and I bought him this several years ago. This one has a oh, let's see, what is this? 5.2 to 1 gear ratio, and he likes this little rig. It's lightweight, easy to use for a kid, you know, or for anyone for that fact. And I even took it on a trip that we made to the Gulf Coast, and he caught some fish on this little combo right here, doing some saltwater fishing. It's hard to pry him away from this little rod and reel. My wife's little rig that I bought her here is a Zebco Delta. These are fine little reels for a spin cast reel. They're ultra smooth. They actually have 5 bearings, 5 ball bearings in them. They cast like a bullet. I mean, they're really good casters. And the way they wind the line back on the spool, it has an oscillating retrieving system in it, so it retrieves the line evenly on the spool, and that gives you longer casts subsequently. The rod is a FLW Millennium 1M7 graphite. Also has a cork handle. This is a little bit more expensive rig here for a spin cast setup, but it's probably the best combination for pan fishing that I can think of. You could also use it for bass fishing, you know, if you wanted to. But that's her little rig. This is what she likes. And I'll tell you, I like that little reel so much but I bought one for myself just as a backup when I'm fishing. This one's on a Tennessee Guide Liberty rod. It also has a cork handle. I've used this rod many times throughout the years for a lot of bass fishing and creek fishing, catching smallmouth and rock bass, things like that. So I topped it with this little Zebco Delta, and it's an absolutely fantastic combination. What we were using, just so you know, the rig that I had set up are these small hooks, you know, either a number 8 or a number 6. You can use a True Turn, Eagle Claw, Aberdeen, which I think we have here. It's a really small hook for panfish because they have small mouths. Just a split shot sinker. I believe that's a 1/8 ounce, if I'm not mistaken. And then a slip bobber using a bobber stop, rubber bobber stop, so that you can adjust the depth that you're fishing. See that little orange thing right there on my thumb? That's your bobber stop. And you can slide that up and down the line, and as the weight pulls the bait down, the bobber comes up and is stopped by that little rubber stopper right there, because the line goes right through the bobber, just like that. And then you can adjust your depth however deep you want to fish, or wherever the fish are. So that's the rigs that we were using on all these reels. The bait we were using were just simple red worms. I'll show you some of these here. Most of these I just pretty much dug out of my yard, and I've got a worm bed. I saved these little pails for when I used to buy worms. Those are red worms. That's what we were using. And a lot of fish really like these. It doesn't matter if you fish for trout, bluegill, bass, even catfish will eat these, you know. And they're easy to keep if you know how to make a worm bed. Maybe I'll do a video on making a worm bed. But you know, when you get ready to go fishing, the bait's right there ready for you. By the way, when my grandson catches some of the fish, I really try to make a big deal out of what he caught. You really have to encourage these kids nowadays, because when they see that you're excited, they're naturally going to get excited too. And that's what's going to keep them wanting to go back. And you know, you're trying to make it more fun for them. And I'll tell you, for myself, you know, having been an outdoorsman for many years, it's more rewarding for me to see one of my grandkids, or back when I was raising my children, see them actually succeed than for myself. You know, to watch them have a good time in the outdoors. That's more rewarding than nearly anything that I can think of. So anyway, without further ado, here's the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, we're on beautiful Kentucky Lake, and we're catching some panfish. So far we caught a few bluegill and one shellcracker. And what we're fishing around is some of these bushes here. So far my grandson has caught the biggest fish, and my wife has caught the second biggest fish, and that's because I'm busy tending to their lines. But we're going to get right over here and see if we can catch a few more. Need to get up closer to the weeds here and get the anchor out. So let's see what we can come up with here. Let's try that spot again there. Maybe there's another one in there. No, I had something there.
You got something?
I've got one, small one. Oh, what is that? That is a skipjack.
Huh.
You know what? We're going to keep him for bait.
Yeah, I don't break that back. Skipjack.
Now, what'd you throw in there? Throw over where you...
The heck of it.
There you go. Another bluegill. There you go, Alex. Okay.
You know it? He was more decent about it. He didn't swallow it. He didn't have the ugly boy down in there. I like when they don't do that.
Y'all are characters.
Papa, is that a good spot?
That's a really good spot. Now, just wait for it to go under, just like that one. What do you got there? Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Okay.
It's a pretty good one, Alex.
Actually, a little closer to the weeds would be better.
When you're right there at the edge of it. Yeah, because sometimes they can get pulled off when they go in the weeds. Because that's how I lost that big one a while ago.
Yeah, starting to get a bite right over there.
Yeah, the weeds removed.
You hear that noise in the background there? You know what that is?
Bullfrogs.
Tree frogs.
Oh, I thought it was bullfrogs. It says bullfrogs.
That's a good cast there.
That's a good spot.
That's a really good spot.
I think they'll
So
be
is
where
that.
the bubbles are.
And tree frogs do that when there's more rain coming. Somehow they can tell. But the skies are nice and clear over there.
So it's going to be rain soon?
Well, we hope not. Doesn't look like it.
Well,
Look at the
that's
sky
what
right
they
now,
say.
right
That's
now.
what the old timers say, you know.
Maybe tomorrow or something. Tomorrow the 20% chance. You need a face cooler.
Well, I finally caught something.
What'd you get?
Oh, caught something.
Too hard?
It's a good bluegill.
Good one.
That's the
Keeper?
kind of bluegill we're after. Yeah, that's a keeper there.
Or as Robert would say, some dips on it.
Right back over there in that spot there. He took it under.
Wow. Really? It fixes?
Oh, what you got, Tom?
I got small bluegill, I think.
That's small. That one's got some size. This is small.
Yeah?
He's
Right here.
barely a keeper. That's a shellcracker.
It's not too bad either, actually.
Throw him in the live well.
I can't get it over there in that opening. Find that big opening. Hurry up, do it.
Get on there.
I'm going to grab it right away.
Right there?
Yeah, it won't even play about it. It'll just get right on there. Ooh, this is a wiggly worm. Ooh, big wiggly.
Get it up.
Yeah, it makes it rough too when you're trying to cast and it's windy. Okay, this time.
Did I do good?
It's little too. It's not real good.
I hooked something finally.
Something finally.
Yes.
Hey, bluegill.
Yep.
That's pretty hefty little bluegill.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
They're in there. They're in that hole.
For a third.
I told you. It just, I mean, those centers that hit the water, they're on it. Here. You get him off.
Give him to Papa.
Try not to lose my worm.
How do I throw him?
He's about the same size as
I like
the
it
one I
better
just
when they
threw
don't
back.
eat it.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Good job, Alex. Watch this. It'll go down in a second. Now you can get a good big one.
There you go.
Thanks, babe.
You might want to redo your hook or your worm, I mean.
Go down. Go down.
Go. You got it.
Oh, what is this thing?
All right. Keep holding.
That's a good one there.
All right.
That's a
Good
pretty
one.
heavy
That's
bluegill
a
there.
good one. That's a real good
He's a thick boy.
Good one, Alex.
He almost fell out of the boat.
Looky.
Ooh, Alex is a fish.
Wait a minute, let me feel that water. Yeah, it's still there.
Me or the fish? Probably me.
They're in that hole. And as soon as you throw in there, they get it.
You almost, Alex almost went head over tea kettle right off the boat. We're not getting any shell crackers. That's the thing that we're here for. Well, we catch one.
We need to be further up in those bushes. I'm telling you, that's where I caught that one. Was like, see, you clean it, the hook's clean. You are getting something.
Yeah,
You just,
that's a bluegill.
they're cleaning the hook.
I didn't check my hook yet.
I mean, they're fun to catch. You know, they're fun little fish to catch.
Yeah, but I like catching one that has some size
Papa,
on it.
see why
Yeah.
they're
Get it on.
I think these hooks need to be sharpened.
I know they're not doing their job
biting.
because this is right. I mean, I just put it, just dropped it in there and it did that.
Yeah, mine needed sharpening too. He grabbed it, took it under, and it didn't hook him.
Nothing's biting mine. Ooh.
See, it's not hooking them. They're taking it under, it's just not.
Can you give me a better hook?
It's
Papa.
not that. Sometimes it's just you take it and it's sharper. Not necessarily better.
Yeah, my hook is dull.
I think mine is too.
Okay, we're missing a lot of these fish because our hooks are dull. So at Sports Unlimited, I bought this for $1.79. And it's fish hook sharpener. Did you catch a good one? You didn't miss that one, did you? Ooh, that's a nice one. Oh yeah, that's a real nice bluegill.
You know me, I think you got him.
Yeah, no, it ain't. It's just playing with it.
Usually them bigger ones, they take it right under. They don't,
Play around.
yeah, they don't
This poor
fiddle
little
with it.
fish down here, and I hate that for him, but he could get stupid. Right when I got him loose, I was ready to throw him in, he put flopped and got loose.
Okay, now your hook is sharp. Put your rod over that way. Okay. Yeah, they're up in there. These bigger fish, I think, are starting to move in here.
See what I tell you, nothing's going
He's
wrong.
just gonna die.
Papa.
You know where you're gonna catch the next big one?
I really wish I could get you out.
I'll show you. Let me see your rod. You getting a bite, Nancy?
I know, I see it.
Get you on it.
Let me
There.
test those things. Like,
See them weeds moving back there? When the weeds are moving, that means the fish are in there.
come on. Nikki.
Flop back there. Let it go.
Let's see if there's a good one over here.
Keeper, Papa.
There's one.
Why do they keep doing that? I can't get out of him. Little fart head.
That's a good bluegill.
A nice one.
I got one. Got one.
That's a shellcracker. All right, let's see what you got there.
My goodness.
That's a shellcracker. He's going in the live well.
I can still see, can't you?
Got something here. Don't know what it is. Another good bull bluegill. That's a good bluegill there. Told you there's still some species back here.
Wow.
They're right in those weeds. See those weeds moving? Nah, he got off. Grandma's studying him there. Wow, that's a good one. Get him in, Nancy. That's a big shellcracker. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a great shellcracker. That's the biggest one of the day, right there. Look at that fish.
Don't let them fool you. They're actually on there when you don't think they are. Just a word.
That's a shellcracker.
A little bit bigger. They're going to pepper that up. They don't get time for anything.
I just got one.
Yep.
Just catching them
That's a nice bluegill. Pretty nice bluegill. But I'm gonna let him go.
Yeah, but all that matters is how much.
Some of the bigger fish in here now.
Yeah, I got my worm. Oh, nice.
There you go.
Come on, here's a worm. Good Lord.
Jesus. All right. Oh, now that's a big shellcracker. That's a big Kentucky Lake.
Nice.
That is a huge shellcracker.
Good job, Alex.
That's a good one right there, boy.
Very good. That's what I'm talking about.
That sucker will go way over a pound. That's a shellcracker.
They're in here.
Want me to open it?
Look at the size of that one.
One.
That's beautiful. Keep that one. That's great. I'm glad you caught that. You and your grandma both caught giants. They're in here. There's bigger fish are moving in here right now. Okay, we're back out here on Kentucky Lake, and this is shellcracker time here in Tennessee. It's usually late spring. Some folks fish for them in mid-April or early May, but we're out here late May, and we've been catching a few of them, and there's some bluegills in here too, some pretty good-sized bluegills. But we're fishing right along these bushes where there's these weeds growing, and that's where we're encountering these panfish and fishing pretty close. You know, it's just leisurely fishing pretty much. And already caught a few bluegill here. My grandson caught a really big shellcracker yesterday, and so did my wife. But so they're moving in and out here, you know, these panfish. And I think they're spawning along this edge here.
Alex, hand me this pliers, please. This keeps moving. It's got to stop. My lid.
So we'll see what kind of fish we catch here. It usually gets a little bit better towards the evening hours, you know. 'Cause that's when a lot of these fish move through here. I'm right there in those weeds. Let's see.
Come here.
Oh, you caught a beautiful sunfish there.
Hey, pretty. Look how pretty.
That's one of those pretty ones. That's probably the most colorful fish here in Tennessee. And they're quite abundant here in Kentucky Lake. They do get bigger than this. This is not a keeper. This is just a good little fighting fish. So we'll let him go. And we got another bluegill.
Stop that.
Yeah, these panfish are pretty colorful.
All right now. These strong. Small.
Go ahead. I think the reason these fish move in here is because they like the shade from these weeds and the bushes here. I think that's why they're getting out of this warm water back where it's a little bit cooler along these weeds. Let's see. Uh-oh, Grandma got one.
What does she got?
Something to make
Oh, it's big bluegill.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a blue? No, that's one of those pretty sunfish.
At least he didn't eat the hook in time.
That's a nice one there.
You gonna keep it or not? Ah,
Let me see.
he's fixing to get off of there.
Let me show him off.
If you don't. Oh, Alex.
Don't smack me with it.
Yeah, there's another one of those pretty sunfish.
Let me cool myself off.
These usually don't get as big as bluegill. And they definitely don't get the size of shellcrackers. Go ahead and reel up.
Ooh.
Careful, careful. Boy, these hooks are razor sharp, let me tell you.
That's good, because yesterday were dull. And it wasn't helping a thing. We wasn't catching nothing that way.
We'll let him go. Just like that.
I'm hot.
You're getting most of your hits right over there around that.
Sure.
It must be deeper right over there or
We're
something.
right over in that little opening thing. Because I see him, that's where I was seeing him flopping the weeds.
Let's see if we get a bite over there.
Wait, maybe it's my worm.
Yeah, you need they done nibbled all your worm off. You need another one.
Ma. I was gonna try to put it on myself because you taught me. Remember, Papa?
Yeah.
Remember, you go like, you just slide them on there.
All right. You're all set. Okay, yours is going under. Lean in. And it's a bluegill. Okay.
Hey, he's little.
Yeah.
You take him off because he doesn't have the spikes up.
Let's see what we got on the end of the line here. That's a good bluegill there. Oh, that's a big shellcracker.
Oh, that's a hoss. Oh my God.
Move, Alex.
Look at that. That's a beauty right there.
Okay, now
That's a hoss.
that's a good shellcracker there.
That's a hoss. It has some hips on it.
Okay,
He's a big beauty, ain't he?
that's a pretty nice shellcracker there.
Oh! There.
We'll be catching baby bait stealers for a
That
really
wasn't no
long
baby
time.
bait stealer.
No, that's a really good sized shellcracker there. That's what we're after.
I was in a special place for him.
You got him. You got another bluegill there.
Is it a female? Is
That's
it a baby bait stealer?
No, it's a good bluegill.
That's a pretty good bluegill.
Grandma's in the good spot there.
It's right under the edge of that bush, sort of, in the weeds. Every time I throw in there, you just wait just a second. He'll come up there and get it. Oh, yeah.
I got something on here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's another one of those pretty sunfish. They're good little fighters, you know. They really are.
Dang.
If you would just hold still for a minute.
You got something?
Just leave it, Alex. Leave it.
Here's a bite.
That's some of the prettiest fish in these waters here.
I think I might get him.
Let me have him.
Well, that's going to get him off, though. I don't think he's got it in there so bad.
Oh. No. All these ones are going to try to get away, get out of the boat. They don't want to bite.
Oh man, that was a good one. He took it under and I missed him.
I ain't catching any. Why can't I catch any?
All right.
Good guy.
I'm not
That's a pretty decent sized one.
It's okay. You'll catch them every so often. But just younger catch them off. They go up under these bushes here. You see them flop every now and then.
Oh, I see what's wrong.
Whoa, well, he came plumb out of the water. All right, another bluegill. Oh, let him go. When you see those weeds moving through there, that means there's fish swimming around in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, he's off.
Stop it. Oh, stop!
There's one right here. Caught one right by the boat.
No! Stop!
Golly.
There we go.
Golly. What a little feller.
There we go, finally. He
I caught one right here, Alex. Right there, where your worm just went in the water. I just caught one.
You hurt me.
I mean, all I did was just draw. I was getting ready to
Open
cast.
your mouth. How am I going to get it out if you don't open your mouth?
I put him on there.
That fish blood or mine?
Come here. Oh,
A turtle.
Oh, golly. Oh, man.
You caught a turtle.
Poor thing.
You caught a turtle.
okay, go away.
Kill his section. No, we got to bring him up so that we can get him off.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, Tom, you're a
Good job. You got
How do
free.
you let
Did you
go?
get free? Oh, good.
It's a painted turtle. I used to have one when I was a kid. I had one as a pet. Let's see what we got here. Put him on in. He's trying to go under the boat.
He's trying to hide.
Oh, that's a good bluegill.
Look at him. Oh,
Yeah, that's a pretty one.
he's
see.
pretty.
Now, he's as big as my hand.
Nice and meaty.
Yeah, that's a keeper. Pull him
I
in.
think I've got one.
That was a good cast and a good catch.
Get up.
Yeah, all right.
Here you go.
Pretty bluegill. And
Worm's still alive.
I need those pliers.
Let me steal your bait. Who I?
No, it's a little one.
Look at it. Doesn't
That's
have to be a
the
big one just to
tiniest
take it under
one.
good. The little ones take
Little
it
fella.
under good too.
That's all right.
Oh, I get a bite. Papa, I'm getting a bite.
I cleaned mine off.
I love this boat. I love being in the boat. It's fun. Sometimes you can get sea hiccups.
Sea hiccup.
See the coast.
What's a sea hiccup? A sea hiccup? Never had sea hiccups.
Oh,
What is that?
thought you were gonna get away with that.
What is a sea hiccup? Can you tell me what that is?
Hiccups when you're in the boat.
You're a good character, I tell you.
Sure they're not lake hiccups
I don't know.
or maybe creek hiccups.
This is the lake hiccups.
I'm too far out for it to get any good.
Yeah, we're
The
gonna,
wind is definitely against
the
you.
wind's picked up, but the fish are still biting, so we're going to stay here a little bit longer and hope someone catches a big one. I just threw right over there. You just caught something. Oh, it's a little fish.
Probably
little
where you
strap.
see that.
No, it's that one's actually bigger than the one I caught.
the one you threw back, Tom.
That one's bigger than the one I caught, actually.
It probably was biting.
With these little stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we would been biting for a while.
No, not for a while, but now it is. It most assuredly is now. Because that last, he caught one, I caught one just like right after that. And they bite different.
Well, they run in schools just like other
Mm-hmm.
bass and stuff do.
All right.
Caught something here.
What you got? Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice bluegill.
Better.
Yes.
That's a pretty nice one.
Show the viewers.
Pretty decent. There's some.
Cool.
That's a small bluegill. Well, I got the last fish of the day. How about that?
Yep, there you go.
Last fish of the day, and it's a bluegill. We'll let him go. Folks, that was a decent day here on Kentucky Lake. Yesterday we caught a few more fish than we did today, but we did get a few good panfish, you know, some good big bluegills and a couple of, how many shellcrackers did we catch? One? Two shellcrackers? Okay. Did you get one, Alex?
Yes.
Okay. Well, once again, he caught one and my wife caught one and I didn't catch any. So anyway, we're going to head on out of here. It's starting to get dark and it's a little windy right now. It's hard to catch fish. It's hard to cast and really control where your line's going anyway.
We're out of bait.
And we're out of bait. So it's time to go. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little fishing trip that we had. It was rather amusing for me, and there were some funny moments in there too that I tried to include, because that's what it's all about, you know, having fun with your family and friends, of course. But if you can get out and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy it as much as I do, then, you know, it'll make your life much more rewarding, especially if you can share that with your family members. And if you have children or grandchildren, all the better. So remember, until next time, if you can get outdoors and go hunting or fishing, camping, hiking, whatever it is you like, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And also remember, hit the like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take care, my friends, and stay safe. We'll see you.